Alright, in this video we are going to see how to create this pop-up using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So this is a review video, this is not a tutorial video. I'm just going to explain how I have created it. And I'll leave the source code in the description in case if you got stuck, or if you need source code you can download it from there. Now this is a pop-up, this is how it look like. This is how it look like. Now we have 5 pop-ups in one page. Now if I click on division 1, you will see the image shows up, then the subsequent text shows up, then the icon shows up. So this icon, you can see there is an image and I have blended the image with the background, and we have added the rounded corner on the images, and you can see this is the icon. And as I click outside the model, so you can call this as model as well. If I click outside of the pop-up, you can see there is slight animation and it gets disappeared. I have about 101 JavaScript UI work in this particular playlist, and I have not created one particular like this. Now if I click on second division, you will see the image shows up, then there is a slightly animation on the text, and then the icon shows up. Now you can see the image has changed and the content is also changed now. Now if I click outside of the model or the pop-up, there will be slight animation, and once the animation ends, then the pop-up closes. So here I have added a event listener which is transition end. So this is responsible for completing the animation. Once the animation is complete, then the pop-up closes. Let me click outside. So there is slight animation. Once the animation ends, then it gets disappear. So now if you see, it is coming from bottom to top on clicking the button. Once I click outside the pop-up, it will go from top to bottom. So this is created with CSS3 using the transition and the position. Now let me show you the HTML. I have some buttons. So once I click on button, the relevant model will open up. So I have given each model a unique ID. So you can see first model, second model, third model, and so on. Now this is the container, and inside the container we have the model holder. So this container is responsible for the background. You can see there is dark background. It is because of this model container. And then we have model holder. So this is the pop-up which you see as a rectangle, and then we have image section, and then the text section. So inside the text section I have added the icon as well. You can see there is the icon, and this icon I have used position relative and give the top as negative margin, so that it looks like it is getting overlapped with the image. Now the h1, the divider you can see this is the dash, this is called divider, and then we have paragraph, and then we have unordered list. So once I click outside the model, it gets disappear. So this is the HTML. Now if you look at JavaScript, so for all the model I have added a listener click. So once I click on a model, so the relevant checking function will get called. So this checking function simply has the if else statement. If the first model is clicked, then open the first model. If the second button is clicked, then open the second model. If the third button is clicked, then open the third model. Likewise, I have just done it. So before opening, so that what I mean by opening is I have given the display block. So before making the style display block, I want to run a function, and that function will close all the model which was previously opened. What do I mean by that? So if I click on second model and close it, and if I click on third model, so once I click on third model, what happens is previously opened model will all get automatically closed. So that work is done by this function. And then since we have seen how to close all the model before opening our particular model, now it's time for closing the whole model. So once I click outside of the pop-up, so this is the consider one what do you call that, once I click outside of the pop-up, you will see we have added a listener, we have added an event listener on the container. So how are we going to know that we are clicking on the container? So that's the reason why we are adding the click event to the windows. So what window will do, window is the parent of all the DOM element. What do I mean by DOM element? DOM element is simply the image, paragraph, h3, div. So this is the parent. I have added the event listener on the parent, so that wherever I click I will get to know with the help of e.target. So e.target.class list. This class list is going to give this class is going to give the class which element I am clicking. If suppose I am clicking on this image element, so image element may have an ID, so that ID I'll get it. So index 0, that means if one image has three classes, index 0, that means first class will be called. If that class is equal to our container, then simply hide it. So this is again another function which will do the same thing. It will hide all the previously opened pop-up. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening.